So it's any of the muscles that are involved in flexion, like the deltoid or the biceps, pectoralis major, would be antagonistic to. And then here, the erector spinae, a little deeper muscle. It's actually this one on this model. So you have the trapezius, latissimus dorsi, and you go down deeper. The erector spinae is a deeper muscle, and there's a nice figure on page 339 that shows how basically the erector spinae goes all the way down here to the sacrum, and then it's got different parts that come up to different levels, but it's associated with the spinal column. Function up here, you have that's, I guess this. Yeah, so the erector spinae is really the more medial of all these long muscles that go up and down the spine. Down to the sacrum and up to the different ribs along the spine.
Okay.
So it's got two components actually. We're just concentrating on this one. So iliac crest, the angles of ribs, lumbar, the cervical vertebrae. Wow, all up to domestic. So it doesn't actually reach the sacrum. That would be this guy, which is iliocostal lumbar quadratus.
It's a coat hanger.
See all these different back muscles.
Mounted on the wall.
All right, so then moving into the arm, biceps versus triceps. The biceps are anterior, triceps are posterior. And the biceps flexes the arm, and the triceps extends it.
Triceps extend, biceps flex.
And so it's both, it's considered, it's really like flexion at the elbow because it's affecting the arm and forearm, so that's why you can say flexes the arm against the forearm. And then deltoid is antagonistic to both because deltoid has those anterior and posterior components.
So
this part of the deltoid would be antagonistic to the triceps, and this
Sir.
part of the deltoid would be antagonistic to the biceps.
So what's always the prime mover or the antagonistic muscle? The one that extends?
Well,
the muscle that extends?
I've just been talking about antagonistic muscles.
Mhm.
Prime mover is defined as the muscle most involved in a given muscle action. So if you're talking about the flexion and extension of the arm, the prime movers would be biceps and triceps, because deltoid has a separate function and then kind of contributes to both.
Okay.
I really don't know how they're going to work prime mover into the test because this is a new section to the lab book. But you know, they give you the example for the leg flexion versus extension. That's the thigh muscles. So on the arm, you also have biceps versus triceps. Biceps versus triceps. And the names come from the fact that the biceps divides and has essentially two bellies, as they refer to them. and the triceps actually has 3 components. It's one muscle, but then as it attaches at one end or the other, it has multiple points. Then the abdominal muscles are all on the chest plate for the most part. Thank you. You start with the one down the middle. It's the rectus abdominis. So rectus abdominis is down this side and it's down this side. You have this covering over top of it.
So the abs, pretty
But
much, right?
now we're talking about the abs. Rectus abdominis is a single layer of muscle right down the midline.
Well, the midline.
As you get out here to the sides, you have external abdominal oblique that's on the outside. Then the next layer in is the internal abdominal oblique. Flip on the other side, and there's the transversus abdominis with this gap in the middle where the rectus abdominis is seen on the outside. So make a note to look up page 343 in your text. Small letter C.
What page?
343 in your text. Because 343 in your text shows you a cross section through these muscles, and it clearly shows that the rectus abdominis is a single layer of abdominal muscle in the middle, and then when the rectus abdominis muscles end, the other 3 are all stacked on top of each other. So you get out here on the side, it goes external oblique, internal oblique, transverse abdominis. And they have asked questions that require you to realize which ones are on top of each other and which one isn't. So rectus abdominis down the middle, single layer, and the rest of the abs are stacked one on top of each other on the outside. You can also see transverse abdominis on this side cut here. But everything else is on the chest plate. The rectus abdominis does not overlap any of the other 3.
So what does the muscles have to do, right? The external abdominal oblique muscles.
So all of the abs flex the trunk.
Is it mostly for stability and for movements?
And then it's involved in changing the volume between the thoracic and abdominal cavities.
So it helps in
So
respiration.
as you contract these muscles, you're going to influence the volume of the cavity below it. And when you change one of these 2 cavities, it affects the other. And as you change the volumes of these cavities, you actually assist in breathing. So most of the time we're just sitting still and we're not really contracting a whole lot other than our diaphragm. But when you start breathing really deep, harder, and you start using your intercostals up here and your abdominal muscles down here.
So when you say they're stacked on top of each other, you would say that the external is like a more superficial?
External is the superficial.
Okay.
Internal is the middle layer. Transverse would be the most internal.
Okay.
So that's clearly shown in your